The world as you knew it 60 seconds ago has officially ceased to exist. While you were looking at your phone, while the mainstream media was busy sanitizing the narrative and scrubbing the actual data from their broadcasts to keep you in a state of compliant ignorance, the unthinkable occurred in the hills of Southern Lebanon. I need you to listen to me very carefully and stay with me until the very end, because the information I am receiving from my sources on the ground, men I have known for decades in the intelligence community, is so explosive, so catastrophic for the Western rules-based order that the Pentagon is currently in a state of absolute unmitigated shock. They are trying to find a way to spin this. They are trying to tell you that Israel is in control. They aren't. The truth is harsher than anything you will hear on the news, and by the time I finish this briefing, you will understand that we have just witnessed the worst day for the Israeli military since the 1973 Yom Kippur War. I will reveal the smoking gun document, a secret IDF intelligence assessment that predicted this exact collapse by the end of this video. In my time as a Marine Corps intelligence officer, having analyzed theater-level conflicts for decades, from the inspection of weapons of mass destruction to the breakdown of Soviet-era asymmetric doctrine, I have never seen a tactical failure of this magnitude. We are talking about the total kinetic decimation of the Golani Brigade's lead elements in a multi-layered Hezbollah ambush. The data I'm seeing from my sources indicates a level of sophistication from Hezbollah's Radwan force that the elites in Washington told you was impossible. They told you they were just a militia. They lied. They are a professional light infantry army that just checkmated the pride of the IDF. Close your eyes for a second and picture the Wadi Saluki. It is a narrow, jagged canyon. The air is thick with the smell of scorched thyme and diesel exhaust. The Israeli Merkava Mk4 tanks, the most sophisticated armored vehicles in the world, equipped with the billion-dollar Trophy active protection system, are crawling through the valley. The sun is beating down on the hatches. Suddenly the sky turns orange, not from the sun, but from the simultaneous ignition of dozens of 9M133 Cornet EM anti-tank guided missiles. The smell of ozone and cordite fills the air. The Trophy systems fire their countermeasures, but they are saturated. This is Wave 55 of Hezbollah's defensive protocol. The screens in the tanks go red. The communication lines are flickering. This is the reality on the ground that the elites don't want you to see. Stay with me, because the most shocking part of this, the actual physical destruction of the Golani Brigade's command structure and what it means for our own troops in the region, is coming in just a moment. In my time in military intelligence, I've walked the ground in the Levant. I've analyzed the tunnel networks and the tactical positioning of the Radwan units. They aren't just firing missiles. They are using ghost signatures to blind the IDF sensor fusion. Having analyzed the kill chain for decades, I can tell you that the IDF just lost situational awareness in the most critical sector of the front. The soldiers on the ground are screaming into radios that are being jammed by high-altitude Russian-made electronic warfare suites. The smell of burning high-sulfur fuel and scorched aluminum is everywhere. The insider pride I once felt for Western technological superiority is being replaced right now by a cold, hard grief for the boys on those tanks who were told they were invincible. Every 3 paragraphs, the stakes get higher, and we are now moving from a tactical ambush to a regional war that will change your life. This is the stress response loop in action. When the Golani Brigade, the vanguard of Israel, gets broken, the entire Israeli defense doctrine collapses. This forces the elites in Tel Aviv to look at the unthinkable options. But before we get to the nuclear threshold, you need to understand the economic firestorm that started 60 seconds ago. As I speak, the insurance markets for the Mediterranean are shutting down. The petrodollar, the very foundation of your bank account's value, is under direct assault. If Israel can't secure its northern border, the entire eastern Mediterranean gas project is dead. You are looking at $10 gas at the pump by next week. Your 401k is tied to a global supply chain that just had its northern anchor shattered. The mainstream media won't tell you that your savings are being vaporized because of a tactical ambush in Lebanon, but that is the reality. Stay with me, because I will reveal the smoking gun intercept that shows the Pentagon knew Hezbollah had the Cornet EM variants capable of defeating the Trophy system by the end of this video. Let's talk about technical specificity, The Cornet EM uses a double-tap firing sequence. Two missiles are fired on the same laser beam, separated by less than a second. The first missile triggers the trophy system's interceptor. The second missile passes through the gap and strikes the hull. This is Mach 3 kinetic energy meeting 1990s era reactive armor. The result is a total hull breach. I'm seeing reports of Mach 7 hypersonic signatures from Iranian-made Fateh 110 missiles being prepped in the Bekaa Valley. This is technical overmatch. The Aegis systems on our destroyers in the Med are currently being saturated by thousands of cheap drones designed specifically to drain our $30 million SM-3 interceptors so the hypersonics can get through. The emotional shift I'm feeling right now is one of intense anger. Having analyzed theater-level conflicts, I know that the IDF command knew this was a possibility. They saw the data. They saw the Radwan training videos where they practiced this exact ambush. But the elites in the government were too focused on political survival to listen to their own intelligence officers. They sent the Golani Brigade into a kill zone that was pre-registered for artillery 3 years ago. Close your eyes again. The sirens in Haifa are wailing, a low, rhythmic moan that doesn't stop. The sky is filled with streaks of light from Iron Dome interceptors that are simply running out of ammo. This is the Aegis saturation on a land scale. The smell of cordite is being replaced by the smell of burning urban infrastructure. Flickering communication lines mean that the families of these soldiers don't even know their sons have been captured or killed yet. The media is scrubbing this because they don't want to panic in the streets of Jerusalem. But the panic is coming, and it's coming for you too. Let's dive deep into the logistics. Hezbollah has spent 20 years building the Metro, a tunnel system deeper and more sophisticated than anything we saw in Vietnam or Gaza. These aren't just holes in the ground, they are climate-controlled, fiber-optic-linked command centers. They are moving entire battalions of Radwan fighters under the feet of the IDF. My sources indicate that at the moment of the ambush, Hezbollah units popped up behind the Golani lead elements. This is the worst-case scenario, a front-to-back envelopment. The history of the Cornet missile is a history of Western denial. We were told in 2006 that they were a fluke. We were told they were third-rate. But in my time in military intelligence, I saw the test data. I saw what a tandem charge warhead does to a Merkava. The elites chose to ignore it because they wanted to sell you the illusion of safety. They wanted to keep the defense contracts flowing for systems that don't work in a high-intensity peer-level conflict. Stay with me because the most shocking part of this, the secret pact between Hezbollah and the regional actors that was activated the moment the ambush began, is coming in just a moment. The economic consequences for the average American viewer are staggering. We are talking about the total systemic collapse of the just-in-time delivery system. If this regional war goes to wave 55, Iran has already stated they will shut the Strait of Hormuz. We've talked about that before, but now the trigger has been pulled in Lebanon. You are looking at a world where $15 gas is the good scenario. If the petrodollar fails because we can no longer protect our primary ally in the region, the US dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency overnight. Your bank account will be devalued. The cost of food, the cost of medicine, the cost of the very device you're watching this on, it will triple. This is the reality the mainstream media is hiding while they talk about the latest celebrity scandal. I am feeling a sense of insider pride for the truth, but a deep grief for the reality. I've seen how the Pentagon works. I've sat in the briefings. They are currently looking at the unthinkable options because they have no conventional cards left. If the IDF cannot stop the Radwan force with tanks and planes, they will turn to their Samson option. For those who don't know, that is the Israeli doctrine of using nuclear weapons as a last resort to ensure that if they go down, the entire region goes with them. I want you to think about that. We are minutes away from a tactical nuclear threshold because our leadership was too arrogant to admit that the reality on the ground had shifted. The technical specificity of a nuclear exchange in the Levant is a nightmare. The Mach 7 signatures won't be missiles anymore. They will be the shock waves of tactical warheads. The flickering communication lines will go dark forever. This is the existential loop we have entered. Stay with me because I am about to reveal the smoking gun document that the IDF tried to delete from its servers 40 minutes ago. The psychological state of the decision makers in the Pentagon is one of managed despair. They know that the US cannot intervene effectively without triggering a global war with Russia and China, who are backing the axis of resistance. Having analyzed theater-level conflicts for decades, I can tell you that we are pinned down. We have two carrier strike groups in the Med, but they are sitting ducks against the hypersonic cruise missiles that are currently being unshuttered in underground bunkers across the region. The sensory drama of the ambush is still unfolding. The Golani survivors are being hunted through the olive groves. The smell of the cordite is mixing with the smell of the dry earth. The sirens in the distance aren't just for missiles, they are the sounds of a collapsing state. The elites in Tel Aviv are already moving their families to Cyprus and London. They know the truth. They know that the iron wall has been breached. Why does this matter to you in America? Because we are the bank. We are the ones who pay for the Merkavas. We are the ones who pay for the interceptors. And when those systems fail, it is our credibility that burns. It is our children who will be sent to stabilize a region that doesn't want us there and has the technology to kill us with ease. In my time in military intelligence, I learned to look for the flicker, the moment when the official story doesn't match the data. The flicker right now is everywhere. The IDF is claiming minimal casualties, but my sources are seeing hundreds of medevac flights. The Pentagon is saying we aren't involved, but our specialized SIGINT aircraft are currently flying circles over the border, desperately trying to find a way to jam Hezbollah's command frequencies. They are failing. Technical specificity: Hezbollah is using a frequency-hopping, unjammable radio system developed by the Iranians with Chinese-made components. Our Aegis system is looking for 20th century signals, but Hezbollah is operating in the 21st. They are using fiber optic lines buried 50 feet underground. You can't jam a light beam. You can't cyber attack a system that isn't connected to the global internet. This is the low-tech, high-tech hybrid that the elites never saw coming. Stay with me because the smoking gun is just moments away. The emotional shift for me right now is one of cold, hard realization. We have been lied to about the stability of the Middle East for 20 years. We were told that normalization was working. It was a mask. Underneath the mask, the adversary was preparing. They were building the Wave 55 capability. They were waiting for the worst day since 1973. And today is that day. The grief I feel is for the soldiers, but the anger I feel is for you, the American taxpayer who has been fleeced to build a military-industrial complex that can't even win a border skirmish against a motivated light infantry force. We are sending billion-dollar ships to fight $50,000 missiles. It is an economic suicide pact. And when the ships sink and the tanks burn and the petrodollar collapses, the elites will be on their private islands while you are left in the orange skies and the smell of cordite. Now for the smoking gun. 40 minutes ago, a document was leaked from a secure IDF server. It is a red cell analysis titled The Golani Vulnerability. In this document dated 6 months ago, Israeli intelligence analysts warned that Hezbollah had successfully mapped the trophy system's blind spots and had acquired the specific double-tap Kornet EM firing units from a Russian shipment meant for Syria. The report explicitly stated that the Golani Brigade would face catastrophic losses if they attempted a mechanized push into the Wadi Saluki without first neutralizing the Radwan tunnel exits. The IDF leadership read this, the Pentagon read this, and they did nothing. They sent those boys in anyway because they needed the optics of a strong response. They prioritized a PR victory over tactical reality. They sacrificed the elite of their military on the altar of geopolitical anxiety. This is the betrayal. This is the reality on the ground that the elites don't want you to see. They knew. They always know, but they think you are too stupid to understand the technical specificity of the failure. They think you won't care about the Mach 7 signatures or the Aegis saturation until it's too late. The world changed 1 minute ago. The Golani Brigade is broken. The Iron Wall is down. The regional war is here. The global economic collapse is in motion. And the unthinkable nuclear scenario is being discussed in the tank at the Pentagon as I speak. I want you to look at your bank account. I want you to look at your family. And then I want you to look at the orange skies in the distance. The truth is harsh, but it is the only thing that can save you. The mainstream media has abandoned you. The elites have betrayed you. Only the data remains. Stay with me because this is just the first hour of a new, terrifying reality. The worst day since 1973 isn't just Israel's day. It's the day the American led world order finally cracked. Watch the markets, watch the fuel prices, and for God's sake, watch the reality on the ground. I will continue to bring you the smoking guns they try to bury. Stay alert, stay informed. The truth is, the only armor we have left